Chapter 10. Into the Deep End. Shortly after your bath, you join Carter in a private cabana right on the beach. It's hard to know where to look, at Carter in his fitted suit or the decked-out dining table with candles and rose petals. This is so beautiful, and have I told you how amazing you look? Only twice since we left the hotel. Well, I can't stop, I'm just wowed by all of this. And I'm wowed by my date. She looks especially gorgeous tonight. Carter. How are you always this sweet? Seriously, you know you're allowed to be annoyed with me, right? Or point out my many flaws? If I was ever annoyed, I'd tell you, I promise, but I don't see any flaws when I look at you, Fiona. I just see this gorgeous, gorgeous woman I'm dating, and I'm just happy to be here. The way he makes your heart flutter never gets old. You reach across the table and squeeze his hand. Then I'm really happy to be here too with you. You and Carter lean back in your seats as a server approaches with glasses of sparkling wine and a tray with silver cloches. Per your request, Mr. Dawson, I've brought you and your date a dinner to share with some of our most appetizing bites. You try not to read into the slight hesitation as the waiter says your date, and focus on the plate he sets on your table. We have shrimp carabineros over sautéed local vegetables in a creme pepper sauce, and for dessert we have a coconut rum cake. Looks delicious. As the server leaves you to your meal, you both tuck into the food. You can't help but smile, and not just from how delicious the food is. All of our dates have been special, but dinner on the beach, he really went all out. Everything okay? Yeah. I was just thinking about how... You keep surprising me. I was expecting a classy dinner in a hotel restaurant, not this. You gesture at the gauzy curtains, candlelight, and sunlight waves. Blah, blah, blah. Well, I happen to like surprising people, especially with good surprises. Especially you. Plus, it's not every day a guy gets to dine with a beautiful woman in the Bahamas. I wanted to do something fancy for tonight. It has been a few years since I've been on vacation. Fancy or not. I guess, unless you count that weekend I spent in the Adirondacks after I filed for divorce. Saying that word always feels a little scary. It's something a lot of people would run from, even though he's known your history this whole time. But Carter just looks at you with sympathy and curiosity in his eyes. I can't say I know the feeling, but it sounds like a hell of a good time for a getaway. What did you do up here? Holed up in a cabin, ate endless pints of ice cream, binge-watched reality TV. I needed a distraction from worrying about how Sid and his lawyer would take the news. I just wish I'd been in the right mindset to enjoy the nature. I wouldn't have been so worried about Sid would think. Right mindset. There's so much to do up there, and I didn't want to leave my cabin except for a walk to and from my car. It sounds like you did exactly what you needed during a pretty damn rough weekend. I'm sure there will be plenty more chances to go outside. Or go upstate. Wow. Outside, too. It's snowy right now. True. Maybe next time I go, I could rope a certain someone into another weekend trip with me. Let me, see. He holds up his hands and mimes shaking an invisible magic 8-ball. All signs point to yes. You shouldn't be making plans like this with him, but you want to. There's no denying it now. I really want to. So, what about you? You said you wanted to do a trip after med school, but never got to. When was your last proper vacation? The summer after my first year in med school, I took my mom to Seattle. Since I started classes early, I just turned 21. The coffee tasting, beer tasting tours we took were legendary. Carter. Why Seattle? I've always been into coffee, and even more so after college, so I wanted to see the local roasting scene. When I was a kid, I pretended to be a barista, served my parents all kinds of special coffee. Define special. Carter winces and rubs the back of his neck. It might have contained watermelon once for a summer drink and half a bottle of chocolate syrup another time. Oh, God, your poor parents. Did they sip them anyway, or tell you thanks, but no? They sipped. Definitely poured them out when I wasn't looking. Oh, A-plus parenting. As you both enjoy more of the meal, you give him a thoughtful look. So, that was your last vacation. You haven't been able to get away since? He laughed softly, shrugging one shoulder. Residents aren't exactly swimming in free time. It's not all bad. The irregular hours make it easier to see you sometimes, but this is the first real break I've had in ages. You look at Carter, really look at him. Suddenly you see it, the slight shadows under his eyes, the weight on his shoulders. He's always seemed so happy when we're together. It's easy to forget how exhausted he might be after all those endless shifts. You remember Sid burning the candle at both ends in residency, and the thought of Carter doing the same for you makes your heart ache. Hey. Are you sure you aren't doing too much? You reach across the table, take his hand. If you need more time for yourself, then when we get back, I'd understand. You've got so much on your plate. And I don't want to give any of it up. He squeezes your hand. Especially not this. It's been a lot, but I can handle it. And this trip has already done wonders, I promise. Okay. Between the heart-to-heart and a romantic dinner, you feel a rush of affection as you smile at him. I knew we'd never put a label on us, but this trip has felt so coupley. He makes you happy. You want him to be happy. That shouldn't be complicated. And as you stare out at the waves, you let yourself wonder, what if it didn't have to be? Carter, if this is your only vacation for who knows how many months, what else do you want to do while we're here? You deserve to make it the most of for you, too. This has already been everything I hoped it'd be. But if we're talking real wish list items, I have one more stop planned after dessert. After dinner and the delicious coconut rum, Carter changes into a swimsuit. And he leads you to a small trail in a nearby jungle. This is where he's going to kill you. I wasn't sure anything could make top a candlelight dinner on the beach, but wow, it's beautiful here. You haven't even seen the best part yet. Assuming this is the right trail. Maybe I shouldn't mention this earlier, but getting lost in the wilderness is not my ideal post-date activity. I hope that's not a deal breaker. You press on through the foliage, and then Carter lets out a whoop. We aren't lost. We're exactly where we were meant to be. You follow him through a thick cluster of ferns and see... Ah, that is gorgeous. Oh my god. Carter, this is incredible. And it's private. We have the entire pool and falls to ourselves. Wow. You keep impressing me. How did you even find this place? The way I do most things. Asking around, a lot of hyper-specific internet searches. Now, come on. He takes your hand, and the two of you half walk, half run down to the water's edge. You share a look, and then you both dash into the cool, clear pool. Whew! You dug your head beneath the water, and when you surface, Carter is doing the same beside you. The water streams down Carter's firm pecs, running over his washboard abs to the top of his swim trunks. You can't look away, so you allow yourself a few seconds to stare. Best idea ever. Oh, Carter. You say his name in a singy-songy voice, grinning at him. What? You skim your hand gently along the top of the water, catching his eye. Come here. At the pool's edge, the water is shallow enough to stand in, so you walk more than swim over to him. It ripples around the both of your waists as you slide your hands up to his chest, enjoying his soft groan as you trace his firm pecs. Then, you link your arms around his neck and kiss him with abandon. Fiona. His hands clutch your back and you pull him flush to him, slick skin against slick skin. You could kiss him like this for ages, but you also want much more. When you finally pause and look into his eyes, he's smiling, a little smug, and obviously as worked up as you are. So I picked a good spot. You tell me. Carter answers with a searing kiss, his tongue lapping against yours. It feels like something out of the wildest fantasies, this dreamlike place, this perfect man in your arms. I never thought I'd have a romance like this in real life, but that's what this is becoming, isn't it? A romance. The thought makes you already racing heartbeat double time, so when Carter finally pushes back, you take a leap of faith. Carter, we both know this thing between us has to be secret. Of course. But after everything you've done for me, I have to ask, what does this mean to you? He goes quiet for a long moment. Let me put it this way. I'm not seeing anyone else, Fiona. Never have been. Not planning to. I don't expect anything more than you're willing to give, but to me, you're my girlfriend. I think of you as my boyfriend, too. You cup his cheek in your hand. You mean so much more to me than I ever could have expected when we met. In the dark, moonlit place, Carter smiles, as brilliant as the sun. Really? Because I knew you were going to be a problem for me from date number 1. And what about now? Even bigger problem, way bigger problem. And that is not a complaint, by the way. Your mission lingers in the air as you meet his gaze. The giddiness of it almost makes you dizzy. This has become a lot more than just one-night drinks at Angelique's, hasn't it? It sure has. The realization should be scary. How attached can I let myself get to him when this can't possibly last forever? You know, maybe you should just shut the hell up and enjoy it. Especially for the viewer's experience. Could you just shut the hell up? Just seriously? But here, from just the two of you in this perfect moment, all you feel is happiness. You reach for Carter, pulling him into a deeper kiss. His hands trail down your sides as the water laps around you, and you get goosebumps. So, is this a good time to mention that I didn't bring you here just for a midnight swim? And what's the other reason? There's a local tradition that if a couple jumps off the waterfall side by side, they'll have good luck for the next month. But the catch is that you have to do it in the buff. Don't lie to me, sir. The idea of skinny dipping with Carter makes your pulse raise. Number 6 on my bucket list does say take a leap. I didn't know this was going to be literally and figuratively. Alright, take a leap. I'm game, if you are. There's a trail up at the top, by the end of the pool. But first, Carter steps up to the pool and hooks a thumb under the waistband of his swim trunks. Then he slowly tugs them down and he tosses them aside. You get to see him naked for the first time. We can't let that free good luck go to waste, right? God, Carter. You follow the contoured lines of his hip bones down to his faint happy trail. Is that what we're calling it? Oh my god. You going to join me? You take a breath to steady yourself and then step out of the pool and shed your clothes. You can't help but be a little nervous as he drinks you in, but that quickly fades as you see the wonder and heat in his eyes. Wow. Wow, yourself. You're stunning. I can't believe you just walk around every day like that. Carter laughs softly, shaking his head. You should talk, you're so beautiful. I've dreamed about this, wondered what every inch of your skin looked like, but actually getting to see you, you're perfect. He takes a step closer, eyes on yours, but when you think he might take you right there by the water's edge, he grabs your hand instead. Come on. You'd follow him anywhere. He leads you up to some of the stone steps that switch back along the side of the waterfall. Then the two of you stand at the edge and look out of the drop to the glittering pool below. God, my heart is pounding. Mine too. Are you still okay to jump? Yes. As long as I'm doing it with you. You nod, squeezing his hand. As long as I'm doing it with you. You already said that. Carter looks over at you with a soft smile on his face. On three, then. 1, 2, 3! With a yell, you and Carter leap off the edge. The wind rushes in your ears as you fall, and plunge into the pool below. You let go of Carter's hand, kicking for the surface. When your head pops above the water, you take a giant gulp of air. Yeah, let's just check it off. So we've got indulge in self-care, get laid, face your fears, and choose your happiness. Holy crap. Carter surfaces beside you with a giant grin on his face. We didn't die. Not as far as I can tell. Chuckling, Carter closes the distance between you and the water with just a single stroke. Good, because now I get to do this. He takes you in his arms and you grab his face in your hands and pull him close for a heated kiss. Your naked body is pressed against his and your breath catches as his thigh slots between yours. You're so close that you feel him stir against you. You arch against him, water lapping at the both of your bodies. His hands begin to wander down your lower back. He dips one hand between your legs. Ruh-roh! And even though it was, had to remove it, your enjoyment was interrupted by a voice. Yeah! There's supposed to be a waterfall up here! You both go still as voices and distant footsteps echo up the trail into the glade. Oh, I guess this place isn't as private as we thought. It's painful to stop when you're this close, but the moment is broken as the voices get closer. Nope. But our hotel room will be. In a hurry, you and Carter swim to the edge of the water and tug on your clothing. And get me back to that room now. After a breathless sprint back to the hotel, you burst into your room hand in hand with him. Heart pounding. Whew. I think we just set a new world record. Gina should have put that on the list, so I could check it off now. Carter turns to shut the door behind him, then he turns back to you with a gaze full of pure desire. He takes a step closer, cups your cheek with his hand. That's not the check mark on my mind right now. You kissing, pulling him closer as your body thrums with anticipation. You've wanted him for so long, and now there's nothing to stop us. You give the kiss, your hands on Carter's hips, but he pulls back to search your gaze. I need to make sure you want this. Carter. Do you even have to ask? I'm 99% sure I know the answer, but I just want the last 1% for confirmation. Then how's that? You lean in to murmur into his ear. Carter Dawson, I need you now. With a groan, Carter kisses you again, his mouth hot on yours, and your heartbeat thunders in your ears. Good, because I've thought about you every night for ages. We'll go as far as we can go, but you know the rules. You reach for Carter to unlace the strings of his swim trunks, taking your time to undo the knot. Every night, huh? It's a miracle that your hands don't shake with all the emotions coursing through your body. Tell me more about these nights you wish we were together. His voice is low, but it seems to echo in the quiet room. We did it on every surface in my apartment. On my bed, on the counter. You finish unknotting the drawstring and let it slip through your fingers. When you trace one finger over his waistband, he groans. Did you bend me over on the couch? Carter nods, his gaze is fixed on yours. I did, but I took my time teasing you first. Wow. You've been aching for him since you walked in the door, but that almost makes you moan aloud. And then what? Pretty much I'm having to remove parts of this, just in case you're wondering why this is broken up. Carter slides his swim trunks to the floor, and your mouth goes dry. Okay. Seeing him naked at the waterfall is one thing, but here in the low light, he's finally yours, and he's all ready for you. Carter, Your eyes roam over his body and just step closer to press a line of kisses along his collarbone. You're perfect. So are you. He reaches around to undo the fastenings of your top and quickly tosses it aside. I want you to know that, Fiona. To feel it. He rests a hand in the center of your now utterly bare chest. His gaze trails over your breast, and his hand trails down too, tugging your sarong and bikini bottoms off. I know I just saw you naked, but holy hell. You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Better than any fantasy I've ever had. Your cheeks warm as you shake your head a little. You're sweet. He gently places a finger against your lips to stop you. The thoughts I'm having are anything but sweet. He trails his fingers along your forearm, his eyes locked on yours. Have you thought about me like this too? Oh yes, our choices are lots of nights when I was alone in my bed, even when I should have been focusing on other things. I'd been working on plans for the bakery. You'd come across my mind. I'd lose hours just thinking about you. Oh, thinking 30 things about me, huh? Let's just say we defaced a lot of brand new countertops in these fantasies. Ah, well, no countertops here. He reaches up to palm one of your wrists in his hand, swiping a thumb over its peak. I'd still like to make some of your fantasies come true. And mine. Yes, please. He scoops you in his arms and carries you to the bed, easing you on your back. His body slots perfectly between your thighs as you pull him on top of you, meeting his mouth with yours. Carter. You do the kiss, flicking your tongue against his and kissing him until you're breathless, panting. I did the thing. Again, I had to skip out of it because, you know, the platform doesn't want you to see it. Even though you're possibly a grown adult. Anyway, it was everything I've ever dreamed about. Carter smiles, reaching up to wipe a bead of sweat from your brow. Everything? You don't have any other fantasies I can fulfill? I could think of a few. Ah, then don't leave me hanging. He leans in to kiss the side of your neck, scraping his teeth over your pulse point. We've got all night, and I don't intend to waste a single second. The two of you reach for each other again and again and again. Congratulations. Congrats. Who doesn't have a bucket list with get laid on it? Oh, just soft chuckles. The next morning, blissfully exhausted, you wake up in Carter's arms. Hi. You roll over to get a better look at him as he gently traces circles against your waist with one hand. Hi. How do you look this good first thing in the morning? Laughing, he leans in to kiss you. Probably because I spent a wild night with this woman I've been dreaming about for weeks. I wish we could stay here forever, though. You realize you could put off the bakery prep for a few days longer, extend the reservation. But he can't. He has to get back to the hospital. You sigh and reach up to cup his cheek. Me too, but before we check out, I still haven't tested out the shower. Want to join me? Carter yanks the covers off the bed, leaps up so fast you yelp in surprise. Yes, but fair warning, if you're hoping to get clean, I'm feeling pretty filthy right now. Yeah, show me just how filthy. Oh, as you wish. He scoops you in his arms and carries you into the bathroom for a long, long shower. Afterwards, you finally pack up and take the elevator down to the lobby. Every time you look at him, you can't help smiling. This is my boyfriend. I just spent a romantic, devastatingly sexy weekend with my boyfriend. But when you step out onto the ground floor, it hits you. I'm gonna miss this. Being able to just be together. I know. After the talk we had on last night, hiding is gonna be even harder. He turns your keys in at the front desk and then squeezes your hand. But at least we have until we touch down in New York to enjoy each other like this. Every second we're in this lobby. Then the ride to the airport. Then the whole flight. That's true. But I still don't want this to end. I could bump us to a different flight, buy us a few more hours, and you'll barely have time to unpack before your next shift. I'll be okay, I promise. But it's sweet that you're willing. For you, Fiona, I'd do just about anything. Carter pulls you into a passionate kiss right there in the lobby, his hand on your lower back. You nip at his lower lip, trying to make every second last. Until... No. You turn to see him staring over your shoulder at another guest at the reception counter, one you recognize as your blood runs cold. Valerie, the hospital administrator of Liberty Heights, stares right back at you both, stunned. She just saw us. And? Who cares? So anyway, before I have a small talk with some of you who are still watching, which please tune in for that, please, before we get to that, to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content that I provide, which means, you may not even like the stories, just the fact that I'm reading and providing it to you, and also the diamond choices and everything else, and it's all coming out of my pocket, be greatly appreciated if you would support the channel. Again, please do so, because without viewers like you, I'm just some rando dude talking on the internet to myself. Anyway, deep breath as I say this. A long time ago, and by long, I mean when Choices first came out, I had a group of individuals who basically came at me. And those group of individuals, for whatever reason, they just really didn't like me. It was a group of about 5 or 6 of them. One of them came around and realized the folly because they started to mature and actually experience life lessons in the whole 9 yards. And then they ended up ratting on them as well as a fellow YouTuber, which we've talked about this. But long story short is those people dogged on me for, at the time, I basically would look at, like, Freshmen, right? I'm sure some of you really enjoy the Freshman series. So here we've got, like, 21-plus-year-olds in the series, and I would sit there and I'd be like, she's really pretty, or, she's really, saucy or spicy, or whatever I said at the time. And basically, people would dog on me that because of that, age difference between me and the, person we were literally dating in the Freshman series, which then I sit there and go, you guys are a little stupid, aren't you? Seriously. We have tons of stories like that. Tons of stories like that. Now, look at this whole entire app. Tons of stories where there's an age gap. There's an age gap of 5, 10 years. In this story, we've got 20-year difference. My age difference between the female character that we were dating in Freshman and my age at the time was certainly as hell not 20 years, but you get my point, right? I'm just taking a sip of just coffee right now in my mind, just going, eat it! I'm serious. Here's my thoughts on this, right? And we've had this talk before, but I'm just going to go ahead and reaffirm this. I believe it's perfectly acceptable to, if you are someone who is in this position, where it's a 40-year-old woman, and you see a 20-some-year-old man, 21, 25, whatever. He's an adult. There's no longer teen in his name. He's no longer a child. Okay? That's the problem, is everybody likes to look at one another based off their age, how much hair they have, whether they have a six-pack, whether they've got big perky boobas, nice plump butt, the whole 9 yards. And then, you know what? Everybody likes to look at skin color. Another thing is age. Aren't you so goddamn tired of it? Seriously, it gets exhausting as a person who's highly intellectual, who doesn't give a shit about any of that, who basically goes, I could meet a 50-year-old woman right now, and she could be on my intellectual level, and I would be happy as hell with that. Or I could meet a 30-year-old woman, or a 20-year-old woman, and I would still be fine with that as long as she's on my intellectual level. Otherwise, everything else does not matter to me. Cannot stress that enough. So it's one of the reasons why this story perturbs me, because it's someone who constantly is having people, and I've met people who had huge age differences, and no one was really going, ew, unless it was like a 70-year-old and a 20-year-old, and that's what they're trying to make this story out to be. Okay? When you see a 70-year-old and a 20-year-old, all right, I might go, yeah, no, she just wants the money or he just wants the money. Whoever's the youngest one, right? But long story short is, besides that, right, the smaller the age gap, the less there should be a goddamn problem. Stop it. Get some help. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I love your beautiful faces. Again, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Seriously, I love hearing from you guys. Let me know your thoughts. Otherwise, catch you all later. Peace out.